Hi, I'm Mike Bellevue, and I have to admit, this is not a video that I ever expected to be doing, but I need your help. Most of you are familiar with my property, Duelist that appears in so many of my videos. I've been there for 7 years with no problems. And out of the clear blue sky, 2 weeks ago, I got a letter from the local zoning board at North Hopewell Township in Pennsylvania saying that I was illegally operating a shooting range, which requires a zoning variance, which of course they would never give me. And then they gave me a dozen violations. So I got a hold of the ordinance. At first I thought this has got to be a misunderstanding. I got a hold of the ordinance, and it is clearly written for someone who would be operating a major commercial shooting facility or a huge gun club. And I'm being written up for not having 7-foot-high non-scalable side berms, for not maintaining a round count of lead going downrange every month and having a lead abatement program, for not having exhaust fans, for not having adequately marked parking with danger signs, yada, yada, yada. And mind you, this is on a property where the only person who shoots on it is me. Just me. I don't allow anybody else to shoot. I have no guests over, no friends over. I strictly use it for myself. And I've always done that to limit my liability as far as anyone being injured or something like that, because I can't maintain the kind of insurance that you need to have guests over shooting. So I've never done that. And in fact, I only shoot there about once a week during the warm weather. And I always try to shoot on a weekday. Now, I'm not saying I've never shot on a weekend. It happens occasionally. But 90% of the time or more, I try to shoot on a Wednesday or a Monday, Friday, something like that, so that I'm not disturbing, hamburger time or late sleeping time or whatever for my neighbors on the weekend, because I'm able to shoot during the week, and therefore I do, to try to be a good neighbor. For 7 years, that's gone just fine. And now I get this thing from North Hopewell Township saying I have to cease and desist immediately and take out all my steel targets, and they're going to fine me $500 per target per day, which I've already missed that deadline. Just awful. Just awful. And I have to tell you that where this is occurring, North Hopewell Township in Pennsylvania, is a very rural township. It's not a blue township at all. Everybody shoots here. All of my neighbors shoot. It's just amazing. So I assumed this must be some misunderstanding. So I got this letter on a Saturday morning. My deadline for all this stuff was the upcoming Friday, but I couldn't even talk to anybody in the township until Monday. And I finally talked to this acting zoning officer who signed the letter. And, I said, I think there's a misunderstanding. It's, just me shooting personally. And, I don't shoot that much. I'm certainly not running a shooting range. And he was incredibly arrogant, as only power-mad local officials can be, who feel like they have absolute control of some aspect of your life. And he said, I don't care if you only shoot once a year. He said, it's immaterial to me. As far as I'm concerned, you're running a shooting range. And I said, well, how can that be? I said, all of my neighbors shoot. I said, when I bought the place, I talked to all of them. I said, soon after I bought the place, I had the police over here, and they had no problems with it. I said, how can it be that suddenly I'm running a shooting range after 7 years? And I'm just doing the same thing that all of my neighbors do. I said, you can see two of my neighbors' deer stands, which are right on my property line, from almost any point in my property. Everybody's shooting. And in fact, one of my neighbors shoots targets off of the back deck of his house. Okay, so go figure. And this local official said, he said, that doesn't matter to me. He said they are allowed to shoot because they own a house on the property. And you don't own a house on the property, which I don't. It's in a conservation zone. That's why I bought the place. So, and you can't build a house or you can't build a cabin or anything there. So I said, well, why should that matter? And he said, that's Pennsylvania law, that you have to have a house or a camp on the property to be able to shoot. I said, Pennsylvania law, really? He said, absolutely. And I have to admit, I told him I thought he was mistaken about that. And I still believe he is. But I said, well, apparently I'm going to have to get a lawyer to deal with this, because he's certainly not budging an inch. He said, I don't care if you only shoot there once in your lifetime. He said, the sole purpose for you having that property is to operate a shooting range as far as we're concerned, and therefore you're in violation of the zoning ordinance. Okay. So obviously he's not budging an inch. Now, I have since talked to some of my neighbors and some of the residents, and they're appalled that this is happening, because they all shoot, and they're concerned about this. But I have until tomorrow, because you're seeing this on Thursday, I have until Friday the 10th of March to file an appeal. And that will go in, because what I've had to do is I've had to get legal representation on this. And my regular lawyer feels he cannot adequately represent me, that this needs to be somebody who's an expert in municipal law and zoning ordinances and how to fight them. And he was good enough to hook me up with one of the top law firms in the state that does that. And they are working on my appeal right now. Well, I hope to see it today or tomorrow to approve it. And we're going to fight this. And they are very, very good lawyers. Now, the downside of that, and one of the reasons why I'm here talking to you, is because they are specialty lawyers. And just like specialty doctors, they cost a lot more than a general practice lawyer does. In fact, they cost about twice as much per hour as my ordinary attorney does. And this is going to break me, which is exactly what these local politicians count on. They've made the appeal process very difficult. In fact, it costs $750 just to file the appeal. And they want a lot of information that generally takes quite a bit of time to put together. But these guys are experts in doing that, my lawyers, and I expect them to do it. But the fact of the matter is, if I am not to go broke doing just this appeal, I need some help. And to that end, a friend of mine, Ken Hill, who a lot of you in the reenacting muzzleloading hobby may know, he's in Kentucky and is quite prominent in the hobby, and just a very good guy who supports a lot of charities. This is a tragedy to me, but it's not to anybody else. He set up a GoFundMe page for me. And this is what it looks like. And I'm going to put the link down below. I'll display the URL, but I'm going to have a link down below that you can click on. And this is strictly for my legal fees. And it has a $10,000 limit. And I think that the appeal is going to take up most of that. And the appeal is to the zoning board itself. It is to the body that gave me the violation in the first place. And they have a vested interest in maintaining that violation. So it's kind of a crapshoot as to whether or not I'll win there. But we have to go to that body first, and then have them not give satisfaction. And at that point, we can sue them, sue the zoning board and North Hopewell Township, in Pennsylvania Commonwealth Court, which we will do. And when that happens, I'll probably be back to you, because that trial is likely to cost me $20,000. I know the smart thing for me to do would have been to walk away from this, to say, well, I lose, you win, and just sell the property and go on my way. That's what these people were counting on. You know, that they could intimidate me into just walking away. Because that's what they do. That's their stock in trade. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And I have to say, a number of my neighbors who I've talked to, I haven't talked to everybody, but I've talked to a number of them, they are hoping that I'll win this, because they are appalled. Because, as I said, everybody in the town shoots. And it looks like, as my lawyer said, looks like this is pinpoint zoning. That's only me. You know, that they're applying this regulation to. And of course, a number of my neighbors are quite concerned, because their view is that this is happening to me because somebody with power or money got annoyed at hearing some of my gunshots. I mean, we have horseback riders and all sorts of things that go through there. But that somebody with influence complained, and that one local official in particular, who is not a very pleasant person, has decided to make this a cause all unto himself, to make whoever complained happy about this. And the only way to solve this is to go in with an airtight legal case that just shows that they are basically violating the law doing this to me. And that's what we're going to attempt to do. But I need your help to pay for that, because this fight is going to be quite expensive. And honestly, I can't do it on my own. I can see my life savings disappearing with every hour these guys put in. So, as I said, I never thought I'd be doing this, but I'm asking for you guys to contribute to the GoFundMe page to the extent you can. I mean, I understand, you know, it's certainly not my place to ask for your hard-earned money. I don't feel good about this. Try to support myself. People have said, well, can't your Patreon contributions cover that? And just to put it in perspective, what I make on Patreon in a month covers 1 hour of my lawyer's time. 1 hour. Okay, I cannot earn enough money to pay for these guys for what we're going through to file this appeal. I mean, it may not take all $10,000 to win the appeal, but I probably will only have enough left to buy a hamburger at that point. And if push comes to shove, if I can't raise all the funds I need, I won't be able to go to court, because I just simply can't afford to just put good money after bad. I'll be depleting my savings to the account to the point where I won't have the kind of cushion I need if something bad happens in my life. Because I'm 68 years old, almost 69, and bad things can happen. So, if you can help me, here's the GoFundMe page, and let's try to keep Duelist Den open, because I want to be able to keep making the kind of videos that you enjoy. If I lose Duelist Den, I won't stop making videos, but I'll be constrained to what I can do at the gun club, which is nowhere near what I can do at Duelist Den. So it'll just be shooting paper and the occasional steel target, and that'll be it. And I'll do that because I enjoy bringing these videos to you, but I would prefer to be able to do them in an environment that's conducive for me to make the video, where it's not a ton of gunfire going on while I'm trying to talk, where I can dress in period clothes without gathering 15 people around to watch what I'm doing. just makes it a little bit hard to work, even if I can keep them all quiet while I'm talking or shooting. And that stuff happens all the time when I go to the gun club. So anyway, I've talked enough. I really appreciate you listening. I appreciate your help. I've got to tell you, you've been a great audience, for the last dozen years. And if you can help me, that's fine. And if you can't, that's fine too. Because the most important thing I've always felt is that you watch and enjoy the videos. And like I said, I could walk away from this, but I just want to keep on doing it. So I'll do my best. Anyway, thanks for listening to me. And until next week, bye.